Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. A little earlier this year, I made a video about walking through the eForm 4 process. The Form 4 is the submittal that you will make to the ATF to purchase an NFA item. So whether it be suppressors here or whether it be a factory short barrel rifle. If you're new to the channel or you haven't seen that video before, I'm going to post a link to it down in the description. So go check that out. I went through pretty thoroughly in depth what you need to do and the process that goes through walking you through when you submit a Form 4 what you can expect. This video here, I want to talk a little bit more about experiences of using a silencer shop or silencershop.com. It may come across a little bit as a rant video, and you know, maybe you can look at it that way, but mainly I want to make the video so that people who aren't familiar with the process know what to expect when you are dealing with a silencer shop. Now, I know there's pros and there's cons of all the different online dealers that you can buy suppressors through, whether it be Capital Armory, Silencer Central. I don't have any experience with those. I just have experiences with Silencer Shop, as I have purchased 5 of these 6 cans through them. This is my first can I got back in 2010. My little Yankee Hill machine mite, and that was done in person. But the rest of these done were through Silencer Shop. So not only have I done a Form 4 through for these cans, but I've also used their Form 1 service twice now. And as I peruse through the different forums, Reddit, subreddits, Facebook, stuff like that, I do see people asking a lot of questions about it. So hopefully this will answer some of your questions and maybe help you out as well. So I kind of want to give a little bit of a history lesson because I think it plays, it kind of adds to the overall feelings I have towards Silencer Shop. First time that I used them was for purchasing this Huxworks Flow, I'm sorry, Huxworks HXQD556. And I purchased this back around May of 2022. And then it was like 3 or 4 weeks later, I went back and I bought the Rugged Obsidian 9. So just real quick, usually when you buy a suppressor from Silencer Shop, you can choose from the list of their dealers that will be local to you. So you choose them for a dealer. So when you pay Silencer Shop for the suppressor up front, and then they ship it to your dealer will finish up the Form 4 and submit it to the ATF for you. One of the things that makes Silencer Shop very convenient is that if you choose one of their dealers that have their kiosks there, you can get your electronic fingerprints done. They can take your picture real quick, or you can use your picture through the app. So that saves you from having to go and run around and maybe add some added expense into there, or even just, you know, for convenience, having to drive around and go get that kind of stuff yourself. But that's, I think, is one of the shining draws to using silencer shops is their kiosks. Again, that's the people, you know, for various reasons, whether it be just convenience or they think that's just, you know, the best way to go do that. So back in 2022, when I bought these cans, eForms was up. I want to say it was the beginning of 2022 that the ATF said that eForms was going to be live and it was going to be a lot more convenient than using paper, and it was going to take 30 days. But all of that was, you know, I don't want to say as a lie, but it didn't really end up panning out that way. So when I bought these 2 cans back then, I got the approvals in early 2023. Both of these were 9 calendar months to the day to get the approval from the ATF. I didn't purchase any more cans in that time frame. And then January of 2024, so January of this year, I went ahead and purchased the Huxworks Flow 762 Ti. Now, I will say that one of the main draws, or another draw for Silencer Shop, is every once in a while they do a free tax stamp promotion where you buy the can and they're going to pay the $200 tax stamp. So, you know, that's a decent chunk of money. So the Flow 762 came out after I bought the HXQD. I can say that had this been out when this can came out, I probably wouldn't have bought the HXQD, even though it is a great can. I did always want one of these because it's a 30 cal can. So, you know, you can run these on 5.56 as well. So not only that, but when these first came out, they were a bit more pricey. I want to say they were like $16.50 or something like that. And then by January, these had dropped down to 13 and change. And then you add on that $200 tax stamp special, which convinced me to go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. It was like the beginning of 2024 when these fast approvals really started going through. I did make another video where I talked about this one was approved in 29 days, which was huge improvement over the 9 months on this one. Nowadays, especially over the past several months, most individual filing approvals get approved within a matter of single-digit days. Did also buy the next can I bought was going to be the Silencer Co. Salvo 12, which I bought just a couple months ago. I think it was August. This one here, it was a 5 day, yes, 5 day approval. And then just a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and picked up the Flow 556K. And this one was a 6 day approval. So definitely very fast, though I do want to say that how quickly the ATF approves your paperwork has nothing to do with who files the Form 4. So whether it be your local FFL or whether you're buying it through Silencer Shop, in fact, really any of the online vendors that you buy them from, it doesn't matter. It has zero play into how fast the ATF approves it, because no matter what, locally, your form, or I should say your Form 4 is going to get submitted by your local FFL. And at that point, Silencer Shop is out of the picture. And I will mention one of the other draws of Silencer Shop or using Silencer Shop and buying cans from them is that if you choose one of their dealers in the network, you don't pay any shipping and you don't pay any transfer fees. Those are all added costs that can go into it. Depending on your local FFL as far as transfer fee goes. I think it was when I was initially looking to buy the HXQD, I was looking to buy it from an online dealer in Las Vegas. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but they're Botac. And Botac has been known to have a pretty poor reputation, but they were running a sale on the can where I think it was only like I think it was $800 or $900 or something like that. But it took forever for them to ship it. At like 30 days had gone by, they still never shipped it. I ended up canceling the order, but the thing was is that going through Botac and going to my local FFL, or at the time my local FFL, which was in down in another city but not too far away from me, they charged $120 for the transfer fee, and then the shipping from Botac to my local FFL was going to be like 75, I believe. So, doing the math right there, they added about $200 to the price of the can. So, keep that in mind. Silencer Shop, you don't pay transfer fees, you don't pay shipping. Depending on your local FFL, it can be a little bit more or less. I did change my local SOT to somebody that was closer to me that I didn't realize they had an SOT. They only charge $55 for the transfer fee. I initially used that local shop for the first time to do a factory short barrel shotgun. So again, depending on what your FFL charges, depends on what that transfer fee could be. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. Obviously, if you're getting over $100, it's something that's really to consider. Hey, if I use Silencer Shop and I use one of their dealers, I'm not going to have to pay that fee. And then, of course, there's the shipping on top of that. So, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, my referencing my other Form 4 walkthrough video, which I will again link below in the description. But I'm not going to go through all of it again. But I think it's important to note that when you buy a suppressor from an online vendor and it has to ship from one FFL to another FFL, there's what's called a Form 3 that needs to be submitted to the ATF. It's basically the sender of that NFA item letting the ATF know that, hey, I'm sending this NFA item to a different FFL. ATF approves on it, and then they can go ahead and ship. So Form 3s typically get approved very, very quick. You can Google it, and it ranges in time, but typically it's in the single-digit days. It's a couple days, 2, 3, 4 days. I know when I bought the 556K, I think it was 3 days. I also recently, and I'm still waiting on Silencer Shop, or I should say the Resilient Putnik that I bought through Silencer Shop. Currently in FedEx's possession. It was supposed to be delivered today, though it's still sitting in Texas, so I don't know what the deal is there. But anyway, going back to the Form 3, once they approve that, then Silencer Shop or any online vendor can ship to your local FFL. So that's with the current, back, I should say, when it was 2022 and you knew that you were going to be waiting a really long time on these. Um, you didn't really worry about that type of stuff, adding another bit of time into there. Well, I can tell you that in today's days, with these single digit day approvals, I feel that Silencer Shop hasn't risen to the occasion of updating their shipping department, whatever it may be, because after your Form 3 gets signed, from the ATF and gets approved, you're going to be waiting another week, week and a half in order for them to even ship your can out. So I think that in today's day and age of Amazon, next day shipping, 2 day shipping, I think we've kind of got a little, a little bit used to that. So when you're talking about a week, week and a half, especially for an NFA item, does it sound a little bit entitled? I don't know, but it is a bit frustrating, right? Because they're definitely one of the higher or more well-known suppressor distributors out there. I feel that they could probably do a little bit better with that, but I just bring that up to let there is a period of time, because I do see that question come up quite a bit. People will be saying in the forums, hey, I bought my can, it says preparing for eForms, it's been stuck there for 2 weeks, what's going on? But that's what you're waiting on. You are most likely waiting on Silencer Shop to ship your can out, even though your Form 3 has been approved already. And if you've bought a suppressor from Silencer Shop and you're currently waiting on one, or even for future reference, when you go on using a web browser, now I see some people say they can't find this. I don't know if they're trying to use the Silencer Shop app or if they're trying to use a web browser from a laptop or a PC. But I know that when I go on Google Chrome from my Android phone and I go to the Silencer Shop, I go to My Orders. You're going to have a list of orders come up, whether it be one, whether it be several. And there's going to be a little eyeball icon. Once you click on that, it'll show you the items that you had purchased. Go down to your can, it'll show you what step it's on. It'll say submitting Form 3. Once it gets approved, it'll tell you Form 3 approved on this date, and then it will sit there. And then the next one you'll get is going to be preparing for FedEx shipment. And then at that point, once it finally gets, you'll get a tracking number. And then once FedEx picks the package up and it's en route, they'll list a tracking number there as well, so that you can, copy that, drop it into a browser, and then see when your tracking date is. So along with the Form 3 that gets submitted, Silencer Shop will also start the Form 4, which will then transfer over to your FFL. And then the Silencer Shop, they have software. It can be convenient, which allows you to certify your Form 4, which is basically you finishing up and getting it ready to submit to the ATF. You will get a link from Silencer Shop. Comes to you in your email, tells you it's only good for 15 minutes. And this software is that bridge between your dealer and then the eForms. And you'll go through, and it's pretty quick. You can get everything filled out. You digitally sign it, it gets submitted. You can do it from home. Downside to that. So the downside is that software is a bit wonky. I can tell you that when I did my Flow 762 back in January, um, it took multiple times, and I read about this quite a bit in the forums too, where you'll be in the middle of certifying and it'll just go dead and start over, and then you got to wait. Reach out to your dealer, your local dealer, tell them, hey, that link ended up breaking, didn't work, whatever it may be, and then he's got to go try to submit it again. Sometimes it fails in the middle submittal. Sometimes you go click the link initially and you can never get it to pull up, but something is wrong with that software, the bridge between your dealer and eForms, using as Silencer Shop software, that it does not work well. When I got the Flow 762 Ti, it took, I think, 6 tries to get it finished up, and that was over the course of 2 days. By the time my local FFL, my old FFL, sent me the link, it was a little bit later in the business day, so I think we tried it 4 times the day before or the day of, and couldn't get it to work. And he just let me know, hey, listen, we're getting ready to close up, we're gonna have to try it tomorrow. So the next day he sent me the link, wouldn't work, and then finally the second time around I got it to work. A little bit of a hassle. I was stuck at work, and again, that link is only good for 15 minutes, so that was a little bit frustrating. And then when it comes to doing eForm 1s using Silencer Shop service, I ran into the same thing, and that was a little bit more recently, which was just a couple months ago. And that, again, more convenient because Silencer Shop already has your electronic fingerprints. I've done the majority of my Form 1s, which I think I have like 9 of them now, 8 or 9. I did all of them by myself, submitting through eForms. Downside to that is I use paper prints. Print cards are easy to get. You request them from the ATF. They send them to you for free. It's already got the pertinent ATF information in the one block that you need to get filled out. you just go to the sheriff's station or anywhere that does paper prints, and they'll roll your fingerprints. Or some people buy them themselves and roll their own prints. I know the prints are important, so I, instead of doing them myself, I went to my sheriff substation. They charged me $8 a card. So you need 2 cards when you send in a Form 1. So that's $16. And then $10 to priority mail them up to the ATF branch or the NFA branch of the ATF up in there in Virginia. So you're looking at $26 total, and then the time it spends running around. So if you Silencer Shop, they already have your fingerprints, or if you can go use their kiosk, you're going to spend $50. And so it's going to be about double what you would pay of doing it your own, at least through paper prints. Maybe, there might be some sheriff stations that do for free. But then you also don't have to run around and get the prints and then, run to the post office, ship them out, and do all that type of stuff. So there's a convenience. So the last 2 Form 1s that I did, I did it just for the convenience. I figured, hey, the extra $24 I'm spending going through Silencer Shop, it's worth it. But I will say, going again using their software, it took multiple times doing that for the Form 1s to finally go through. Of course, once they got submitted, any Form 1s or Form 4s I've done through Silencer Shop, they're all done and filled out correctly. Obviously, not all the way through, or the whole forms aren't populated by Silencer Shop. Some of them are done by your local, at least when it comes to Form 4s. So now getting to, once going back to that factory short barrel shotgun that I bought, when I bought that, and I said that I found a local SOT that was closer to me than my previous one, um, is when I bought my Salvo 12. And again, when I was going and purchasing this and it was choosing the dealer I wanted to, by accident, I noticed that this closer FFL was one of their dealers, which I didn't know that was the case. So, anyways, my local dealer, or actually, let me backtrack. So I bought that can, had a transfer to them since it was only $55, but none of this was going through Silencer Shop. Now, what he had said, he's like, do you have your EFT file, which is your electronic fingerprints, which I did not at the time. He said, well, get your EFT files done, and then when you come on in, we can just file directly on eForms. And get the short barrel shotgun Form 4 submitted. So I did that. A long time I figured I was going to get my EFT file. I always put it off because I was either, I don't need any more short barrel shotguns, or I don't need any more suppressors. And I'm going to tell you right now, that never ends up being the case. At least with me. It may be different from you, but I paid the money for a place that was local to me. This place called ScanMan, and they give you your electronic fingerprints on a little thumb drive, which you get to keep and take home with you. And this place also takes your photo. It puts it on your drive for you as well. Not that you really need that, but once you have that, you own those EFT files forever. It is an encrypted drive, so you can plug it into your computer. You can't get your prints to pull up, but when you submit things to the ATF, they recognize that on there, and it's no problem. I just did another Form 1 last night, but this one I did myself now that I have the EFT file. So I went and got my EFT file. I think it cost me $70, and got my short barrel shotgun that got approved. I think it was in like 3 days. No big deal. So now after that, I used that dealer to buy the Salvo 12, purchased through Silencer Shop. And again, not knowing that he was in the network or considered one of their brokers, I was like, hey, that's great. No transfer fees, no shipping. I'll go ahead and have it sent. And he had recommended. He said, listen. He goes, when you buy your can, we won't use that Silencer Shop's software. Say it's super wonky. Told me all the stuff that I had already experienced myself. He goes, we will just go ahead and do it locally on eForms you and I and get it submitted. You don't have to use Silencer Shop software. I said, okay. So I bought it and didn't buy the tax stamp through Silencer Shop. And after I don't know, I think it was about a week and a half, I'm sitting there tracking it, and I finally call them up and I said, hey, are we ever going to submit the Form 3? Now, they did send me the DocuSign link, because when you get the Form 3 through Silencer Shop, you'll get an email from DocuSign to sign the Form 3. That gets done almost immediately. At least in my experience, it's like within 10 minutes of purchasing the can, you'll get the link for the DocuSign. Well, I saw they're still waiting for the Form 3 to be submitted, and after like a week and a half or so, I finally hit them up, and they said, oh yeah, well, we're waiting on you to buy a tax stamp. And I said, well, I'm not going to buy the tax stamp through you. I'm going to do it locally through eForms. I said, oh, so you're going to do the traditional method? I said, yes. I said, oh, okay, well, that's the reason why we haven't submitted your Form 3 yet. So not only had they not even shipped my can, I thought maybe they were just waiting on that to ship it, but they hadn't even submitted the Form 3 yet because I did not buy the tax stamp. So I had to let them know in an email, and they even called me to verify that I wanted to submit it by the traditional method. So once I did that, the Form 3 got submitted, and then again, I waited a week and a half or so for them to ship it out after the Form 3 was approved, and then I finally got it. So by the time I went to go purchase the the Flow 556K, and then more recently, the Resilient Putnik, soon as I purchase, I respond back to their compliance department, their sales department, and I say, hey, listen, just let you know, I am going to file this can Form 4 locally on eForms through my local FFL. I will not be using Silencer Shop software, so please submit the Form 3, and I'm not buying a tax stamp through you. Using that again, using it to buy the Salvo 12, and then shortly after the Flow 556K. Super simple. Go there. At least my FFL is definitely familiar with the process. It takes literally like 10 minutes. We upload my electronic fingerprints and I sign off on it. I pay right there on the eForms website with him. And then I'm out the door. And when I got this one here, I think this, like I said, this was a 5-day approval. This one here was a 6-day approval. So it's super simple. Downside is that I have to go there to get, do all this. You can't do it over the phone or remotely or anything like that. But it was definitely less frustration and more convenient doing that locally in the shop. At least it was for me. So, that one you're going to have to kind of like, weigh yourself. What's easier? What's more worth it for you? But every can I buy from Silencer Shop, I'm doing it the traditional way. It just works out better for me. So getting to the shipping, this is the part, another thing what gets frustrating. Not only are you waiting for longer for Silencer Shop to even ship your can than it takes the ATF to approve it, but they ship via FedEx, and FedEx sucks. When I bought the Flow 556K, once they pick it up, just like all of the other carriers, whether it be the post office or UPS, they'll give you a tracking number. You can click on it, they'll give you a delivery date. So the delivery date, at least when it came to this, and now my Putniks, they don't hold. Um, just got to the UPS hub, I'm sorry, FedEx hub, that's about an hour away from me, and it sat there for about 5 days. Past the delivery date. Once it got past the delivery date or the initial delivery date, you say package has been delayed, and you sit there and you try using the chat function, and it'll tell you basically, it hasn't been enough time to file a claim or for them to even do anything. So you're just left wondering, where's my can? Did somebody at the hub steal it? Did it get lost? What is going on? Now, as you see, I have it in my possession. So finally it did break through and end up coming in a few days late. And then recently, like today, I'm waiting on my Putnik. It's supposed to be delivered today. It is still currently sitting in Texas, which is many states away from me. So it's not going to be delivered today. It's been sitting there for 2 days with no movement. FedEx tracking says that it arrived at that hub, but it never says that it left. So no idea what's going on with my can. Most likely it's fine. But I'm sure that let's say somebody did steal it, or if somebody ever does steal it, if you buy it, I'm sure it's not going to be super convenient to get that all straightened out. I mean, obviously, or at least I'm pretty sure that obviously you wouldn't have to buy another one. Silencer Shop would still be on the hook for that, but I'm sure it's not going to be the smoothest, easiest, or quickest process. That Form 3 that was submitted on your behalf says that it's going to be coming here. So I'm sure there's going to be, and also the Form 4 that got started already under your name, because as soon as you buy a can from Silencer Shop, they assign you a serial number. So it's not like until it gets to you, there's no trackability. There is things submitted for a specific can that's going to be coming to you until it ends up getting approved. So, I'm sure that's not going to be hassle free. Really wish that Silencer Shop would use somebody better like UPS. But I'm sure they're trying to maximize their profits as they are a business, so they are continuing to use FedEx. So there's a bit of frustration and again more wait time that you're going to have there. So that's pretty much what you can expect when you buy cans through Silencer Shop. At least it has been this year for me. And it's a bit annoying and it's a little bit frustrating. I know, like, at the end of the day, you may think, oh, okay, so you purchased a can and you had to wait a couple weeks, a few weeks before you could certify your Form 4, wah, wah, wah. I mean, I get that. I understand that. But just know that going into it, because you are going to wait much longer for that than you most likely than you are for the ATF to actually approve your Form 4. So if you buy from Silencer Shop, those are things you're going to encounter. Um, so just know that, and that's the whole point really of this video. So not just coming through or making a video about problems, I want to kind of also give some potential solutions to this. So why do I keep buying cans through Silencer Shop? Well, as I mentioned, no shipping, no transfer fees, so that's a good thing. I would tell you that probably the easiest and most convenient thing to do would be buy a can locally, and also buy a can locally from somebody that doesn't have, they can file directly through eForms, because that's the fastest and quickest and easiest way. If you're going to do that, you're definitely you're going to want your EFT prints done. Now, I will tell you that even if you have previously bought a can through Silencer Shop, uh, they have your electronic fingerprints. They won't give that to you. I mean, you can only use it to purchase cans and do Form 1s through them. So you're going to have to figure out or find a place that can do this locally, and get these little on the thumb drive for you. So you're definitely going to want that. When it comes to your picture. Now, back when I bought this can in 2010, obviously a little bit less digital era back then. You had to go to a place specifically to get a passport photo done. So that was a little bit of a pain in the butt. Well, nowadays with the ATF, you can take a selfie at home. As long as you're getting from the tops of your shoulders to the top of your head, and make sure you have a little space above your head. You don't cut off your head at all, and you do it against a light background. Now, my walls of my house are kind of like an off white. So I just use that, and that's the one that I attach when I do my Form 1s. And same thing you can do in your Form 4s. So, again, no reason why you specifically have to use Silencer Shop for it. So I'm kind of at the point now where, if I go to buy future cans, I'm going to actually try to avoid Silencer Shop. So for me personally, out of just not cutting middleman travel time, frustration out of there. My old FFL, they're a very large shop. They do have a lot of cans in stock, but they've never had any of these cans that I bought in stock there. There is shops though within an hour to hour and a half drive radius around me in all directions except east. So I do live on the East Coast. Um, that are larger shops that do have them in stock. So I'm kind of at the point now where it's worth it to me that I even have to drive an hour and a half away, and I don't have to deal with the Form 3 and all that kind of annoying stuff and the wait and the transfer time or shipping time, wondering where my can's going to be. I will go into a shop. I will bring my thumb drive with me. I will buy a can right there from them, get it submitted to eForms, and then wait. And then once it's done, I'll take a drive out there and I'll go pick it up in person. So that's currently the option that I am going to be looking to do next, when I purchase my next can. Just something to keep in mind for any of you out there that are looking to purchase. Yes, $70 to get your EFT files done. It's a decent chunk of money, but I'll tell you, if you get one can, you're probably going to get more. Or, you think you're only going to file one Form 1 to make a short barrel rifle with short barrel shotgun. Yeah, that's probably not going to be the case. So, in my opinion, it is definitely worth having your EFT files done. Go get that done. It's a lot more convenient. And you can save yourself a lot of trouble. So that's about it for this video. Hope it answered some questions or helped anybody out and give you a little bit of insight, or a bare minimum gave you a heads up of what you can expect when you buy an NFA item through Silencer Shop or you use their Form 1 service to make an SBR. So as usual, appreciate all the views and feedback and comments that I get. Please like the video, subscribe, share it as much as possible. It really helps the channel out. So see you in the next one. Thank you.